Yeah, coming at next, right out the gate.
Wow. This is, I don't expect anything less from a Lakers fan. Let me just establish that first.
Whatever.
If you're from LA, I'm cool with you being a Laker fan or a Cowboys fan. But if you're from anywhere east of Texas, it's shameful and it's shameless. You from Jersey, right?
You know that.
Yeah. So you skip past the Knicks, the Nets.
No.
The Cavs, the Warriors, the Mavericks. I mean, you went to the furthest part of the country. It's front running. Anybody's team could be good if you get to pick the team.
Mark, stop. Hello and welcome to a Thanksgiving episode of the Fumble. I'm your guy, Rodney Rikai. A similar sweater, you may remember this. It was so cozy, I haven't been able to take it off. Samaria. What's up, fool? How you doing?
I'm doing good. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Yeah. I hope that it was great. You got to spend some time with your family and loved ones.
I'll be honest. Ever since you've been engaged, you always do this thing with your left hand now where you be like, so.
No. Watch it back. Run the tape back. I always have done things. Okay. I've always done things. And I try not to do it.
You ain't got the lie to kick it.
I promise you, I really be trying not to do it.
We got a special guest on today's episode of the Fumble. We got some sports topics to get into. We gonna tie it in with some Thanksgiving stuff. I'm ready to get into it. You ready?
Yes.
Yeah. Still hungry. How long can you eat Thanksgiving food for?
3 days. So yesterday, the Detroit Lions took the field once again, continuing one of the NFL's most honored traditions, the Thanksgiving Day game. This tradition dates back to 1934 when the Lions hosted the Chicago Bears in what would become the first Thanksgiving football game. Believe it or not, it wasn't just about the competition. It was a marketing move by the Lions owner, George A. Richards, who was looking for a way to boost his team's profile and draw fans to the stadium. Since then, the Lions have been a Thanksgiving fixture through the highs, lows, and everything in between. So, Rodney, why do you think this tradition with the Lions have lasted so long, and is it time to shake it up?
No, this is the first time where it actually makes sense, and I'm not mad at having to watch Lions football on Thanksgiving because finally they're actually good. For years, we were tormented watching the bum-ass Lions on TV for Thanksgiving, trying to act as if football on Sunday was an enjoyable experience. It was not, okay? And similarly, it's like the Knicks on Christmas Day. Mm-hmm. For years, the Knicks would play on Christmas Day, and I'd be like, "Yo, they suck so bad. Nobody wants to watch this." But now it would make sense for the Knicks to have a Christmas Day game, just like it makes sense for the Lions to have a Thanksgiving Day game. So I'm actually enjoying the idea of an adequate football team being forced down our throats. I'm not opposed to that at all. How do you feel about it? Because you are a Lions wag. You are. You a wag, right? I ain't never said it before, but we got to acknowledge the truth.
Anyways, child, when I was in Jackson, we did have to cover the Egg Bowl every year. So that's like one of those Thanksgiving
Who playing the Egg Bowl? Who's in the Egg Bowl?
Ole Miss, Mississippi State.
Why is it called the Egg Bowl? I'm sorry to interrupt. I got questions. But why?
That's what it's called.
Do they get a bowl of eggs after they win? Like, why?
No, they get like a big bronzed egg. I don't know why it's called the Egg Bowl. We should look it up. Ask Siri. I don't know. But I feel like I have had to work. So I was about to say that, I wish I had Thanksgiving off. But I've had to work Thanksgiving anyway. So at least I get to watch a game. Last year, the Lions lost that game, and it was very sad. The NFC North, I feel like, and I'm not being biased, even though I got my little Dan Campbell bobblehead. The NFC North, I think, is one of the most competitive divisions in the NFL right now. So that's going to be a very great game against these two teams. Yeah. But I mean, would I like to be at home on Thanksgiving or with my family? Yes, but I guess now I have a new little family, and so we just go to football games.
Got it.
I really just sit by myself in the stands, but it's okay.
I wish the NBA would infringe upon the sanctity of the Thursday Thanksgiving football game, because the NFL has karate chopped NBA Christmas Day games and now they got Beyonce performing on Christmas Day. Like, there needs to be a little bit more competition, a little more competitive fervor by the NBA, and just put a game on, put a quality game. Let's get LeBron versus Steph on Thanksgiving Day. Give us hoop fans something to watch and enjoy on Thanksgiving Day. That makes sense to me.
Well, see, on the other side of it, I feel like it's like the family piece. It's like, at least give them one holiday that they don't have to work. Because that's just always really tough.
No.
It's like the family, or you can't spend the time with your family. Like, I'm
No.
talking a lot because, like, say for instance, for the Lions, they don't have a break because they play the next Thursday. So you can't travel to go see your family, or they would have to come up, but you don't really get a break. You don't really get a day to spend with your family. So maybe that's what the NBA is doing. They're like, well, we'll take over Christmas, but we'll give you all Thanksgiving.
So they make it super fly. If it's going to be in a major city, right? You rent out a house, you let both teams bring their family. Now you got some additional content to shoot around, you know, a holiday package. You bring in chefs, or you let people's grandmothers make their stuff in an amazing kitchen, whatever it is. I would just like for there to be, I love college basketball on Thanksgiving, but I want to see some high level NBA action on Thanksgiving. I think that's something the NBA needs to look into doing. Seriously.
All right, you let us know down in the comments, what do you make of the Detroit Lions getting to play on Thanksgiving every year? Do you feel like they should continue to do it even though they're winning right now, or is it time to shake it up like I asked earlier in the episode?
So I hope by now that y'all out there realize that I love me a good old hot take. Samaria, how you feel about a hot take?
I'm scared.
Why are you scared? Ain't no reason to be scared. All it is us having outside the box thoughts and opinions and wanting to engage our audience in phenomenal conversation, right? We got to just be real about it. A bold opinion these days goes a really long way. So we did our due diligence over here and we scoured the internet trying to find some hot takes that maybe make a little bit of sense for us. And I want to ask our Fumble family which ones they feel the most passionately about. All right. So this actually is perfect for you, Samaria. Okay. Why isn't cheerleading considered a sport yet? You can't tell me flipping and throwing people in the air doesn't take more skill than half the stuff that y'all watch on TV. So the hot take there is that cheerleading is just as high energy, high performance, high athleticism as any professional sport out there. What say you, Samaria?
I'm really not sure because I think it encompasses so many things that we consider a sport. Dance. We consider gymnastics a sport. Like literally cheerleading is all of that in one little, I don't know, like it's just grouped together. So we do all of those things. And then like you said, on top of that, throwing people in the air. Just kind of dangerous. I've been to the hospital many of times. So yeah, I don't know. It's very interesting. I would love to see it. Like if we're going to do flag football in the Olympics, why isn't cheerleading?
Respectfully, cheerleading is not even half the sport that flag football.
Flag football? You're not getting hit. You're running.
Oh, you never played
and
elite
somebody's football. Throwing. And you've never cheered, sir. That's
right, because I was an athlete.
See? You see why I said I was scared? Y'all see? No.
All right, let's move on to another hot take.
Yeah, cheerleading is a sport.
Yeah. All right. Well, not really. But fantasy football is trash. Y'all care more about your fantasy team than the actual game on TV. It ruins the whole vibe. Fantasy football being trash is for sure a hot take. I would actually argue the counterpoint in that it has invigorated actually a new audience to actually care about watching the game regardless of who is on TV. What are your thoughts, Samara?
Yeah, I mean, I can see both ways because I've only done fantasy twice and it has stressed me out like to the point where I'm not excited about anything because for one, the draft, I'm over here like, stressed about that. And then it's like the game itself, you care so much about what one player is doing or if somebody is going to play or if they're on who do you put on your bench? Who do you start? I just want to watch the game. So I don't do fantasy anymore because like I said, I think that I think it's ruined it. I think that sports betting is crazy. People are losing their minds over this stuff. It's not that serious.
Yeah, the passion for the game in totality is starting to wane. And that's not just in football. I love the way Kevin Durant handles fans whose livelihood and income is predicated on them hitting a parlay. So yeah, I think that there are some elements of fantasy football that have ruined a true connection and connectivity with sports fans and specific cities and markets. People are just kind of concerned with individualized players, which... I just don't think is as passionate, right? And so
And it just sometimes gets a little dangerous. Sorry to cut you off there. Because I'm like,
sure.
when you have money involved, now if you're just playing for fun, okay. But when you have money involved, then people start acting not like themselves. It's like
yeah.
now you really are sitting here mad at a player because they didn't play for whatever reason or their arm is broke. It's like, it's just not, like I said, it's not that serious. At the end of the day, the day gonna end and y'all doing too.
Because then you end up like Jonte Porter. This is a great hot take concept. All right. Pro sports teams should only have players from their city and state. Imagine how much better the rivalries would be if all the talent was local. Now, you being from Georgia, y'all would put a pretty good, solid team out on the basketball court. What do you think about geography-specific teams only signing players from that market?
See, the problem is it's just going to now be very like one-sided because California, New York, I literally have it pulled up here. Like California and New York are like at the top for like basketball, baseball, and
New York?
football. New York is up there too.
New York actually pales in comparison to New Jersey when it comes to basketball, to the DMV area when it comes to basketball, to Texas, to Georgia, North Carolina.
Texas is big too. Texas is big too. But Chicago, Texas is top 5. But I'm just saying, I feel like, oh my God, Pennsylvania is up here. That's crazy. Anyways, I just feel like it's gonna just be very like, you're just gonna have like powerhouses. So Texas, California, I'll throw Jersey, New York, New Jersey. You know, it's Florida. Florida's always good in football. Then you're going to have powerhouses because these little small states that nobody come from, who's coming from Idaho?
Well, they don't have a professional team anyway, so who cares?
I mean, well, they could.
We're talking about cities that actually currently have sports franchises and that matter.
Okay, I will say, though, that if that was the case, I think that the players would play harder. I mean, not to say they don't play hard now, but I think they're really repping like a guy I think about is like Aiden Hutchinson. He's been in Michigan his whole life, but I feel like he gives his all to the Lions because this is like his home team. And then he went to Michigan. So like, I mean, I think it makes for a great story, but I think the guys would really be playing for that name because it's like, this is my home team.
Yeah, except then all your cousins going to be asking you for tickets and stuff like that. Actually, this is a terrible idea. Oh man, you don't never get to leave home. You don't get to escape your community. Yeah. Oh, that sounds terrible. I ain't gonna lie. I'm sorry. I would never propose this. That would be awful. Somebody always hitting you up for tickets. Hey, cuz, I know you playing against Bron tonight. What's up with some tickets one time for your boy? Like, shut up.
And actually the Cowboys may have a better team.
Well, can't get much worse over there. I want to hear from our Fumble family. Do any of those hot takes speak to you? Or if you have a hot take of your own, why don't you go ahead and drop it in the comments section? Would love to hear it.
So yesterday, families all across the country gathered around the table for Thanksgiving dinner. And let's be honest, every Thanksgiving gathering has its key players. There's the turkey carver, the one who keeps the energy high and is the life of the party. And of course, you got that one cousin who sneaks outside before dinner to enhance their appetite, if you catch my drift. So here's the question. If you could draft your ultimate Thanksgiving dinner lineup made up entirely of athletes, Rodney, who's getting a seat at your table?
Okay. I'm going Dejanay Carrington. I'm going Tia Walker. I'm going, I got a list. Sydney McLaughlin, Alicia Schmidt. She was an Olympic German track star. Gabby Thomas. Gotta have Gabby Thomas there. Tara Davis Woodall. Dang, there's a couple. Dina Asher Smith. Who the girl that's dating Jaylen Brown? She an athlete.
Oh,
yeah, she can come get some gobble gobble.
Wait.
Yeah, the turkey, man. You know what I mean.
The 6-leg turkey that we was just talking about.
What you know about it? All right now. Yeah, that would be my Thanksgiving guest list. You know, I just want I want good energy around me and really smart who are highly driven and highly motivated, both in their sport and away from it. And I think that list would be really compelling at Thanksgiving.
Okay, so I got like a really crazy list. So for one, I gotta have Draymond Green at my table because I'm like, this is gonna be a debate. He's gonna say something crazy. Like I don't know, and I'm not a big Draymond fan, but I love that he's an antagonist, and you gotta have that, right? Okay. this is just like a crazy one, but Kirk Cousins, only because he will let you do what like like he's gonna be fun. He's gonna let you put the chains on. He's gonna be all the things. And then I gotta have Sydney Colson on my like she's just the comic relief. So that's the three.
She can come to mind too. Her and Natasha Cloud can come. Sha'Carri Richardson can pull up.
Oh yes.
Yeah, but we obviously approach this assignment very differently. But that's just who we are and our spirit. You know what I mean? I have a specific taste and preference in who I share meals with, and honestly, there doesn't need to be. Steph Curry could come. Steph Curry and John Wall can be my two male guests. Yeah. They can pull up on me. Other than that, all other masculine energy need not come. We good. 1v11 with Rodney Rikai. Yeah.
You all let us know down in the comments who would be in your Thanksgiving dinner lineup. I am just really excited to see what you all got to say about this, and that you agree with my lineup.
Yeah, and that coach from Texas A&M. Woo! Come on, coach. We need some leadership. Pull up on me. Pull up on me now.
All right, folks, it's that time of the show where we bring in a special guest. And today we've got one of the sharpest minds out there. He's a renowned scholar, author, and activist who's been leading the conversation on justice, politics, and culture. You know him from his work on TV, in the classroom, and on the front lines. Give it up for Dr. Marc Lamont Hill. What's up, cousin?
Hey. It's so good to see y'all. It's good to see y'all, man. I'm happy to talk to y'all. I love this show.
That was a beautiful intro, Samaria. That was so well done. That was really good.
Oh. I'm like, telling people to do that. That made me feel good. I feel better about myself today.
Yo, Marc, it's good to have you. We were supposed to have you on the show before. I hope all is well with your family first and foremost, and that your spirit is doing well. I had so many questions that I wanted to ask you, when we were supposed to have our first interview, but none of those questions are applicable anymore because the Sixers suck. So my question to you out the gate is it time to trade Joel Embiid? Yeah, coming at next, right out the gate.
Wow. This is, I don't expect anything less from a Lakers fan. Let me just establish that first.
Whatever.
If you're from LA, I'm cool with you being a Laker fan or a Cowboys fan. But if you're from anywhere east of Texas, it's shameful and it's shameless. You from Jersey, right?
You know that.
Yeah. So you skip past the Knicks, the Nets.
No.
The Cavs, the Warriors, the Mavericks. I mean, you went to the furthest part of the country. It's front running. Anybody's team could be good if you get to pick the team.
Marc, stop. You are from Philly. You know very well that when Kobe Bean Bryant was coming of age, most of young Black America had their eyes fixated on him. I am a beneficiary of the greatness of Kobe. His greatness allowed me to choose the Los Angeles Lakers. I worked for an NBA team. My fandom was for sale. I'm a fair weather fan. Also, let me just be very honest. I will switch teams in a heartbeat.
Yes. I just want to establish that. So all y'all watching, any criticism he has of my team is a little bit cheapened by the fact that his team always going to be good because he front runs. Samaria, I feel bad that you have to do that because there might be a day. I mean, you're the best. I think you're maybe one of the best hosts in America. But you just never know with a guy like this, man. So somebody else might come along, you know what I'm saying? He'd be like, you know what? I like them a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? There's no 10 toes around here. There's no 10 toes.
I'm Skip Bayless? No, not at all. I'm 10 toes for sure for my co-host because I respect and support Black women first and foremost, Marc Lamont Hill.
That's true. That you do. That you do. I
like
how you did that.
Bum ass Sixers though.
Forget all that.
I want to talk about your bum ass Sixers.
Let me tell you something. First of all, you don't worry about for a veteran team like the Sixers. I'm not worried about the first 10, 12 games. I'm not really worried about their record. And I'm not worried about their record, especially in the East, where a lot of teams are underperforming. The Knicks are underperforming. The Cavs are overperforming. Things will level off. And when you're an experienced team like the Sixers, we saw this with the Miami Heat a couple years ago. They got an 8 seed and still made it to the finals because they're good enough, right?
Because they have a culture. Because they have a culture, Marc. You know that.
Oh, God. Heat
you
culture.
know that.
They do. And the Sixers do not have that culture. I'll be honest about that. My only point is, if you're a veteran team, increasingly, home court advantage matters a little bit less, and preserving their health matters a little bit more. The Sixers, that said, have sucked monkey for the first 13 games. Use the technical term. And I think that the reason that is a few things, right? One is injuries. You know, as good as this team is, as well constructed as this team is roster-wise, and I do think this is an extraordinarily well-constructed team, it's contingent on health. And you got Paul George, Joel Embiid, both of whom have been more and more injury prone throughout their careers. You got Tyrese Maxey, who even missed a stretch. And so when you have three guys like that, a big three that I think we played our first game together last night at the time of this taping.
And so, PG went down?
Yeah, and then right. So you can't win like that. But if we can get a 50-block stretch where we play 40 games together, I think this team is dangerous.
Should we keep trusting the process? Because I'm losing trust.
So you know, all the non-Philadelphians like to pull that process stuff out. I see his influence too. You've always been a kind, wonderful sister, and he's, you know, I see what he's doing. I see it. I'm gonna help save you, my sister. But the process was early on an argument from Sam Hinkie that we're going to lose a lot. I won't say on purpose, but I was at them games. We wasn't trying very hard. And then we're building up enough talent through the draft to put together an elite team. Once Sam Hinkie was fired and Brian Colangelo became the GM, the process was already over. The process doesn't go on forever. The process was we're gonna stack a whole bunch of people together and see what happens. The answer to your question though is no, it didn't work. Do I think the process could have worked? Yeah, if we had drafted properly. If you draft Giannis, which we had option to, sure. If you draft Jason Tatum, which we had an option to, of course. If you draft, Donovan Mitchell, which we had an option to, absolutely. And I could go on and on and on. So if we had drafted properly, but you could also say, finally, Boston got great without ever getting that bad, right? Cleveland got great without ever getting that bad. You don't have to lose out to win out. I think you need a great GM, and I think you need an actual program, and you need effective coaching. And I think we dropped the ball a few times.
Yeah, quite a few. Still dropping it. Let's pivot away from the Sixers because I want you to have a good day. But this topic can also be a little challenging. So Colin Kaepernick, he galvanized many of us with his protests. He had programming that after that protest that didn't get very much media coverage. But for me, it kind of feels like these days we only see him when he has something to promote, a show, his new AI, a Nike All Black jersey. My question for you is there a scenario in which Colin Kaepernick maybe dropped the ball a little bit with his mission?
It's an interesting question. I mean, the first thing I'd say is, yes, we do hear from him when he's promoting stuff. But in fairness, a lot of what he's promoting are things like Know Your Rights camp, books on prison abolition. A lot of what he's promoting is a vision and a program for social justice. So it's not like he's just putting out albums and sneakers, right? So I think that's important just for context. Mm-hmm. He had an opportunity to be the most visionary leader of our generation. He had an opportunity to stand at the front lines after the NFL fiasco and really be a voice, a universally respected voice for justice and a champion. But that ain't everybody's goal. I wish Andre didn't make a flute album. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of stuff I want for people that they don't necessarily want for themselves. And it's not a diss. It's that, people have to chart their own paths. If Colin Kaepernick were doing something illegal or doing something immoral or doing something hypocritical, I'd be challenging him. But the fact that he's willing to operate under the radar a lot and only kind of pop out when he has to, I can respect that. And to say he dropped the ball would be to place the burden on him for this, when in fact the burden should be on all of us to be leaders.
Staying with the NFL, we've talked a lot about some of the protests from players. That's been a hot topic, especially the way that the league has responded. Do you feel like they've done enough, or do you feel like there's more to be done?
In terms of the players, have the players done enough?
No, the league. Has the league done enough in response to the player protest?
The NFL has done the least. I have never seen such a despicable response to calls for justice as what I've seen from the NFL. The ownership, the league, etc. The NBA has done a much better job, and I have criticisms of the NBA. Major League Baseball hasn't really been in the mix. Hockey, I mean, it's hockey, right? But the NFL having such an extraordinary overrepresentation of Black players and brown players has more of a duty. And when the players are standing up and speaking out, the NFL initially responded with punishment. And then as the punishment became less popular, they just stayed level. But for the NFL, for me, I'm not even asking them to be champions for justice. I'm asking them to be champions for equity, champions for having players having access to coaching and coaches having access to ownership and players having access to ownership. And I'm asking them to not race norm, claims around CTE. They basically said, if you're trying to pursue a justice claim against the NFL for for having concussions, we're going to take points off of you as a black player because your IQ is supposed to be lower. So, structural racism, that's like old school throwback, like Jim Crow racism. You know what I mean? They old school with. So I want them to do all of that. Before we get to social justice, I want them to just be fair and equitable in their day-to-day practices.
Thank you so much for coming on. I have thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. You all let us know down in the comments what you thought about our conversation with Dr. Marc Lamont Hill, and drop a comment and let us know who you would like to see on next week's show. All right, that's all for this week for our Thanksgiving episode. Thank you so much for joining us for another great episode of The Fumble. And make sure to subscribe to The Fumble and at The Fumble Sports on all of our social media platforms. Of course, we deliver the latest in sports every day on our YouTube page with our girl, Jackie Ray. And every Friday right here at The Fumble with myself, Samaria Terry, and my co-host, Rodney Rikai.
Happy Thanksgiving. Eat them leftovers. All right. Any woman out there that tries to get you to spend money on food over the next 3 days ain't worth the paper plates that prisoners eat pork on. So y'all go ahead and choose somebody different in your lives. All right, players, you hear what I'm saying? Leftover city, baby. Bye, Samaria.